In 10 years, we have created and tested over 100 lead magnets, gaining over 1.5 million email addresses, and in the process, turning that into $25 million in revenue. And if you want to make more sales, you need better lead magnets. But lucky for you, after a decade of testing these and trying dozens of them, I can tell you there are only 4 types or buckets that every single lead magnet can neatly fit into. Once you know the 4 types, there's only 5 rules you have to pass your lead magnet through. That's like a litmus test of sorts. And most marketers know pieces of this, but in this video, I'm gonna give you the entire thing, the full framework behind every lead magnet we've ever built. And as always, as a bonus, at the end of this video, I'm gonna give you 2 things. First, an AI prompt that will generate 50 plus lead magnet ideas for you, for your specific business, scoring it against the 5 rules I'm gonna teach you in a minute. And second, a swipe file of my actual best performing lead magnets, categorized by their type, so you can see exactly how I personally apply this stuff myself and that I practice what I preach. Links in the description if you want to skip ahead, but again, I'd watch first so you actually know how to use them and then get the swipe files later. But before I give you the how-to along with the tools to help you make your own lead magnets, let me clarify something that I think marketers, for whatever reason, make way too freaking complex. And that is, what is a lead magnet? Okay, here it is without all the stupid guru complexity and crazy whatever. A lead magnet is a free thing you give away in exchange for someone's contact info. That is it. A lead magnet really only has 5 steps. Step 1, create a thing your customer wants. 2, put it behind an opt-in form on a page. 3, drive traffic to that page with ads or content or your advertising vehicle of choice. 4th, give them the thing via email. And then 5th, you nurture that person whose email you got afterwards. Think about it. Create, gate, drive, deliver, nurture. In that order. That is literally it. It is simple, and yet so many people suck at this. I don't want to be rude, but I will say after coaching 5,000 plus course creators, I believe the reason people are not very good at this comes down mostly to their mindset and the way they approach lead magnets. I would argue most marketers approach lead magnets in a very exploitative way. They essentially think, what's the least amount of value I can give away so that I can grab their email and then blast them with all of my pitches? It's very one-sided, very transactional, right? It's take, me. The reason I think we've been so successful with lead magnets is we think about it much differently. If my lead magnet isn't good enough to charge for, it's not good enough to give away. That's my standard. I want people to consume this thing and then immediately, not 6 months from now, not 15 lead magnets later, right now, I want them to think, if the free stuff is this good, the paid stuff must be insane. That's how you earn the right to sell, the privilege. You prove that you can help before you ask for the money. My strategy is to give so generously that paying me becomes the next logical step. Not because I tricked them into my funnel and now I get to bait and switch them later. When you do this right, lead magnets pre-sell your customers and they pre-sell your offer, so you don't have to be some professional salesperson or persuasion artist. The trust is already built, the sale becomes far easier. But first, you gotta master the 4 types of lead magnets. Of the over 100 lead magnets I've created, I can safely and neatly and quite confidently put them into just one of 4 buckets, just 4. Starting with the first type or bucket of lead magnets is what I call a clarifier lead magnet. Clarifiers reveal a problem, an opportunity, or a gap that your customer didn't fully see before. Think of it kind of like a doctor's diagnosis, right? You walk in feeling kind of off. You don't really know why or what's wrong with you, but the doctor runs some tests, takes your blood, looks at the results and sits down and says, okay, here's what we found is wrong with you. And that clarity alone by itself is the value. But more than just that value, it then positions the doctor or the expert perfectly to say, and here's how we fix it. Here's what it's going to cost. Here's your options for next steps, etc. The moment someone diagnoses your problem, your brain automatically assumes they also have the solution. You just don't question it. The doctor revealed what's wrong. So obviously they know, I'm assuming they know how to fix it. That's the power of a clarifier lead magnet. It doesn't just provide value, which is a big part of it. It positions you as the experts and the presumed solution. So you're essentially not really selling anymore, you're prescribing them. Clarifiers show people the gap between where they are now and where they want to be, and then guess who's perfectly positioned to bridge that gap? You, your product, your paid thing, whatever it is that you sell. Some common formats for clarifiers, some of the most used ones are quizzes, audits, assessments, calculators, diagnostics, scorecards, graders, and comparison tools. But here's a couple more honorable mentions of other formats these can come in. Now, in terms of real life examples, you can see, I'm not gonna go through dozens or hundreds of these because I've already done that, and I put the best ones in the swipe file linked below. But let me just show you one of my favorites that's been around for a long time. V-Shred, a popular fitness info product business, reportedly, not sure if it's totally true or not, has done over $1 billion in revenue. And one of their most successful lead magnets was a Clarifier. It's a body type quiz. Many of you have probably seen it. You answer a few questions about your body type, your goals, your current routine. And at the end, it tells you, based on your answers, you are this body type, and here's why you've been struggling, here's your problems, and that clarity alone is valuable. But then the next obvious step is it says, oh, we happen to have a program that's designed specifically for your body type that we just found for you. It's genius, but it's so simple, right? Dave Ramsey does the same thing with his debt calculator. He shows people the weight of their problem, how long it will take to pay off their debt, and then a convenient pitch to their Every Dollar app to help them do just that. So that's a clarifier, right? It reveals the problem or an opportunity in concrete terms. And clarifiers, just for clarity, don't have to always be framed negatively. Things that are showing a problem would be negative framing, like debt, maybe you're fat, your website's broken or slow. Those are all negative things, right? Positive framing would be showing an opportunity. You could be getting blank results, or you could have blank thing. But whether it's positive or negative, both show what is missing in the customer's life. Next, the second type of lead magnet is what's called a sampler. Samplers give people a taste of your actual paid offer. It's a part of it. This is essentially the Costco model in practice. Okay, you walk in through the store, someone hands you a little cup with a piece of chicken. We've all been there. You try it, it's good, and the brain immediately goes, well, if the free thing, the small piece of chicken is good, then the whole bigger piece of chicken must be worth buying and good as well. That's the psychology. You're not explaining what your offer is. You don't see any Costco people pitching you like crazy on the chicken. You're also not promising results or making guarantees. You're literally just giving them a piece of the thing so they can experience it for themselves. If your course has 10 modules, a sampler might be module 1. For free. If you run a coaching program, a sampler might be a free coaching call or maybe a Q&A session. If you sell software, like I do, the most obvious sampler lead magnet is a free trial. You let them get their hands on it, let them see what it actually feels like to use your stuff, bada bing, bada boom. Some common formats that samplers come in: free trials, mini courses, webinars. Yes, webinars are in fact samplers. Webinars can kind of cross between multiple types of lead magnets, but they are in fact mostly samplers. Demo calls, Q&A sessions, sample lessons, and challenges. But again, here's a handful more that are less commonly used, but great options as well. I again do this with my software CC360. You can start a 30-day free trial before you ever pay me $1. Right? You get inside, you see the templates, you see the 24/7 support, you join a coaching call of mine, you use my AI tools, you watch our course content, you see more templates, and by the time your trial is up, would you look at that, you're not wondering if the software is worth it. You already know, and hopefully we've proven that to you because you've been using it. That's the power of a good sampler. You're not telling, you're showing, and showing beats telling every single time. Moving on to the third type of lead magnet, the third buckets, we have what are called starters. So starters turn overwhelm and complexity, analysis paralysis into a small, doable first baby step. Your customer knows they want to get somewhere, right? The end outcome, but they have no idea where to begin. There's too much information, too many options, too many whatevers. They're paralyzed. So a starter says, hey, chill out. Don't worry about the whole journey right now. Okay, let's just start here. Think of it like learning how to cook. Okay, if you want to eventually master the whole kitchen, but you've never cooked a meal in your life, a sampler, the one before this, might look like, hey, here's a free lesson from my cooking course. A starter, however, would be, here's a single recipe with a grocery list. Make this dish tonight, just this one. You follow it, and if you can make something even edible, that's a small win. It's not an earth-shattering win, but that small kind of first win builds confidence, which foreshadows the value that I might get from that person if I were to spend money with them. That's the whole point. So samplers and starters sound similar, but they're different. A sampler gives you a piece of the product, whereas a starter gives you the first step of a path. Some common formats that starters come in: roadmaps, 7-day plans, 14-day plans, 30-day challenges, checklists, blueprints, starter guides, and workbooks. And here's a couple more honorable mentions to look at. James Clear, one of my favorite authors, does this really well. Before you buy his book, Atomic Habits, or any of his other paid stuff, he gives you a 30-day tiny habits guide. It gets you started on a journey of building habits, and once you've taken that first step and seen a small win, the rest of his stuff becomes far more attractive because guess what? You have momentum now. You're not starting from zero. Okay, Fourth and final type of lead magnet is what we call shortcuts. And honestly, this is probably my favorite, maybe my most used. It's kind of a toss-up between shortcuts and clarifiers. Those are my two favorite. Probably 75% of the lead magnets I make fit into those two types. But shortcuts are ready-made tools that compress time and effort. Your customer knows what to do, they just don't have the time or energy to do it themselves. So you hand them something that skips the work entirely. That's a shortcut. Clarifiers diagnose, samplers prove, starters guide, shortcuts just do it for them in a small way or a big way. Think of this kind of like meal planning. You could spend 30 minutes figuring out what to cook this week, searching for recipes, writing out a big grocery list, or someone hands you a done-for-you meal plan with the grocery list already made, same outcome, fraction of the effort and time. Some common formats and some of my favorites are things like templates, swipe files, prompts, fill-in-the-blank documents, SOPs, playbooks, toolkits, spreadsheets, and resource libraries. And here's a couple more that you can screenshot if you'd like to take a look. Some real examples of shortcuts. My 100 hook template library is a shortcut. You could spend 5 years studying hooks, becoming a really good copywriter, analyzing what works, testing of hundreds of variations like I have, or you could just take my templates, plug in your topic, and have a working hook in 30 seconds. That's the value. I did the work already. You get to skip it. Shortcut. Same with my 50 plus funnel swipe file. I've built over 100 plus funnels. I documented the best ones. You don't have to guess what a good funnel or page design looks like. You just open the document and you copy what works. A shortcut. Both of those lead magnets, by the way, are included in the other lead magnet, a lead magnet within a lead magnet, in the link below. So those are the four types: clarifiers, samplers, starters, and shortcuts. Now the question is, which one should you use? Here is a simple way to think about it, okay? If your audience doesn't know they have a problem yet, or how bad it is, use a clarifier. Reveal the gap, show them what they're missing. If your audience is skeptical that you can actually help them, use a sampler. Let them experience your stuff firsthand, prove it, don't just claim it. If your audience is overwhelmed and has no idea where to start, use a starter. Give them the first step, get them moving. And finally, if your audience knows what to do, but doesn't have the time, energy, or resource to do it themselves, use a shortcut. You hand them something done for you that skips the work mostly or entirely. So hopefully that helps you to narrow down what would work best for your specific audience. But here's the real unlock for me, and hopefully for you. You don't want just one type of lead magnet, right? You eventually want all four of these working together in some shape or form. A clarifier that shows them the problem, a sampler that proves you can help, a starter that gets them moving, and a shortcut that saves them time. So by the time someone has gone through all four or some combination of those, they're no longer asking, should I buy from this person? They're now asking, what can I buy from this person? And that single switch, when it happens in a customer's brain, it makes selling 100 times easier, maybe 1,000 times easier. When you get people to a point where they're literally like, what do you sell? Like, can I buy something from you? That is when you have won. That is a good marketing campaign and a successful sales funnel. And that is how lead magnets become a trust building machine instead of just an email collection tactic like many marketers like to talk about them as. Which is also, by the way, and I truly hope this is your biggest takeaway, one of your biggest takeaways from this video. Lead magnets are not just a top of funnel strategy like everyone seems to think. You know, everyone talks about you got a funnel, right? This is your business as a funnel. And up at the top right here, you got these lead magnets. And you're gonna bait people in with something good. You snatch that email from them. And then down the funnel, they trickle like a bunch of sheep to the slaughter until they buy from you. I would like to suggest that they are arguably an even better middle of funnel strategy. Yes, lead magnets are always going to be one of the best ways to attract people into your ecosystem initially. But from my own experience, they work just as well, if not better, as a middle of funnel play. And what I mean by that is they create multiple touch points where you're giving value past just that first lead magnet someone got from you. Where most marketers stop after one lead magnet, right? Hey, I launched a webinar and then nobody bought from me. Oh, I gave them a quiz funnel and then nothing happened. I want 5, 6, 7, each one getting more valuable in succession the closer they're getting to buying. And I only started doing this after I dug through over 6,000 individual transactions to figure out how long it took my average customer, right? It's an average. Some people needed almost no touch points and were very fast. Others took years and were like moving like molasses. analysis. But I wanted to figure out how long it takes and how many touch points it requires before somebody buys from me. Average was 6 months and 15 touch points. Not one lead magnet and then done. It was 15 separate moments where they engaged with something from me before they pulled out their credit card to buy. And when I say touch points or moments, by the way, these aren't 15 individual lead magnets. Do not misunderstand that. There's also a world where creating too many lead magnets gets really messy, super complex. You're going to start confusing your customers, and it's impossible to market that many lead magnets. But imagine just for a minute with me, if scattered throughout those 15 touch points and 6 months of time, they're getting a clarifier here and a sampler there and a shortcut here. Each one a win, each one proving you can help them. What do you think happens by the time they make it to touch point 15? If it even takes in that many touch points. $25 million later, I can answer that for you. They buy, right? You're not persuading them anymore. They've already persuaded themselves via the value you've been providing consistently. Okay, take that, put a pin in it, because now, after talking about the 4 types of lead magnets, that just tells you what to build. We now have to talk about the 5 rules. These tell you how to build lead magnets well. Okay, rules 1 through 4 are what make your lead magnet good, acceptable. Okay, rule 5 is what makes it profitable, which is the whole point of a lead magnet. You can nail the first 4, and many people do. I myself, I'll show you an example in a minute of me making that mistake, but you can nail all 4 and still not make money if you botch rule number 5. So pay attention to all of them, but extra attention to rule number 5. Rule number 1 of a lead magnet is it has to have one person, one promise. Talk to one specific person and promise one specific result. The more people you try to appeal to, the less it resonates with anyone. Don't be a jack of all trades, master of none. Rule number 2, clear in one line. If you can't explain your lead magnet in a single sentence, I promise you it's going to be very hard to convert and market. You should be able to say what it is and why someone would want it in 10 seconds or less. Try it out. Rule number 3, fast win. They need to feel value in 1 to 15 minutes, not 30 days. If it takes a full month for people to experience a win, they've already forgotten about you, number 1, and then they've also bought from your competitor who does follow this rule. So fast wins. Rule number 4, asymmetric value. Massive value on the customer's end, minimal effort on yours. So if it takes you 10 hours to personally fulfill every single lead magnet, that's not a lead magnet. That's a service you're giving away for free. So you're looking for disproportionate value, something you can build once and deliver forever. But let me be clear here. The point is to put massive effort up front in building the lead magnet, and ideally 0 effort ongoing. So for you lazy marketers, don't be thinking the goal is to put as little effort into something and call it a lead magnet. It's the exact opposite. But this is where we got rule number 5 and where most lead magnets go to die. Obvious next step. You can have a lead magnet that nails rules 1 through 4. One person, one promise, clear in one line, fast win, asymmetric value, and still doesn't make you any money. Why? Because there's no obvious connection between the lead magnet and your paid thing, the offer. This is by far the biggest mistake, bar none, that course creators or just infopreneurs are making. Someone builds a lead magnet, it's genuinely valuable. People love it. They're collecting emails like crazy, maybe even, but then they try to sell their course or their coaching program or their products and nobody buys. The lead magnet and the offer feel like 2 completely different things. There's a disconnect. Good lead magnets solve a problem, but the best lead magnets create the next problem that your paid offer happens to solve. Let me show you what I mean here, okay? So one of my best performing lead magnets is a market research report. You enter in your course idea and we grade its viability. I tell you if it's actually worth pursuing in the first place. That's a clarifier lead magnet, okay? It reveals an opportunity, and if the report comes back and says, hey, your idea scored an 8 out of 10, there's real demand here, and you should build this, what's the immediate next thought in their head? So how would I go about doing such a thing? What would I make the course with? If I only had a software, if I only had some support and some templates and a proven step-by-step strategy and guide, ta-da! Course Creator 360, my paid offer, right? The lead magnet created the exact problem my paid offer solves. That is an obvious next step. And it's also why we spent over $150,000 driving traffic to that one lead magnet with paid ads. And so far it's generated over $100,000 in monthly recurring revenue. When your lead magnet and your offer are aligned like that, selling becomes easy. It truly does. You're not convincing anymore. You're just showing them the next logical step. So those are the 5 rules. And I want to be clear here that I don't always follow these rules perfectly. Some lead magnets, I nail all 5 pretty perfectly. Others, I only hit 2 or 3, and the results honestly kind of show. But let me actually grade that same market research report that I talked about against these 5 rules so you can see how this works in practice. Okay, first you got rule number one person, one promise. It is for course creators who have an idea but don't know if it'll sell. One person. The promise, find out if your course idea is viable before you waste months building it. One promise. That's a 5 out of 5. Rule number 2, clear in one line. Find out if your course idea will sell before you build it. So easy to market, done, 10 seconds, 5 out of 5. Rule number 3, fast win. Enter your idea, get a full report back in under 10 minutes. You don't have to wait days to do a bunch of work yourself. 5 out of 5. Rule number 4, asymmetric value. It costs me pennies worth of AI credits to generate each report. For them, it's a market analysis that would take hours to do manually. Massive value, minimal cost. Very repeatable, very scalable, 5 out of 5. And finally, rule number 5, obvious next step. The report reveals their idea is viable. Now they need to actually build and sell the course. What solves that? CC360. The lead magnet creates the exact problem my offer happens to solve. 5 out of 5. And that's why it works. It's not luck. It is just following these 5 rules. And if you get those 5 rules, you are going to have a exponentially higher chance of succeeding with lead magnets. Now, I've intentionally chosen to break these rules before, and it's resulted in far less effective lead magnets. For example, this hook library template I talked about previously, it slaps at getting signups. People love this thing. I can market it so easily from a front end standpoint. It brings the boys to the yard, for lack of a better phrase. But grading this one, right? Rule number 1, 5 out of 5. Rule number 2, 5 out of 5. Rule number 3, also 5 out of 5. Rule number 4, 5 out of 5. Rule number 5 is a 1 out of 5. Now, why is that? Well, it turns out going from here's how to write better hooks for your content to now let me teach you how to build a course business is way too large of a jump. Do you see how the gap there is just way too big? There's a big disconnect. The lead magnet doesn't create any problem that my software or my courses would solve very well. I could try to make it so I could force it, but if you're forcing it, that defeats the whole point. It's gonna make this thing far harder to market and then sell your paid thing too. This lead magnet creates a problem that a content agency or an editing service might solve, but people download this, they love it, they get value from it, and then they go buy from someone else whose offer actually matches this value they just received. It's still a great lead magnet, it still builds trust, it still gets my name out there, which can still serve my main purpose later, right? But it doesn't sell them directly. And that's the difference between a lead magnet that builds you a list and a lead magnet that makes you actual money. Rule number 5 is the difference. Now, all this theory and these rules are all fine and dandy, but here's the problem. Lead magnets can be very difficult to make. They are hard to make. And most of you don't have the creativity or the marketing know-how to come up with some on your own. So I made something for you. And this is, by the way, a shortcut lead magnet in practice. It's a lead magnet within a video talking about lead magnets to show you the meta concept so you can see me doing this myself, okay? It's a single AI prompt. I programmed this, spent a lot of time, so you can copy and paste this into your AI tool of choice. It's been pre-programmed on these 5 rules and the 4 types. You paste it into your AI tool, answer some quick questions about your market, and then it spits out 50 plus lead magnet ideas, each one categorized into clarifier, sampler, starter, or shortcut, and then it also puts together a full-blown plan for you, start to finish, on how to execute and push this thing out to the market. Some of my personal best lead magnet ideas have come from this one prompt. And on top of that, I'm also including a swipe file of my best performing lead magnets, as well as some other people's lead magnets that I've liked, so you can see some real examples of how I applied this stuff in real life. And also to see that I'm not just giving you a bunch of theory and cool ideas that I just pull out of my brain. I live this stuff. It's all I do. I eat, sleep, and breathe this every single day. The link's in the description. It's free. Go grab it. Enjoy. And as always, if you want more than just ideas in some of these cool samplers, these shortcuts like I'm giving you, and you want the full system to actually build, market, and create your first online course and lead magnets just like this, the funnel templates, the email sequences, the AI tools, the coaching calls, the 24/7 support, that is all inside of Course Creator 360. You can start a 30-day free trial. Again, a sample lead magnet. Let me put my money where my mouth is. Start a free trial, check it out, and we'll see you guys in the next one.